What's up guys, Brian Grant here of ContestChampion.com. Today I just want to go over a budget-friendly mastery build that isn't going to break your unit bank, but can still pack a considerable punch and get you through pretty much anywhere in the game, actually. Now, some of you might already be past this point, and you might have some very expensive masteries unlocked, such as Deep Wounds or Assassin. But for those of you who maybe are just starting out, or maybe you have a friend who's just starting out, or maybe you rolled the dice a few too many times on the featured crystals when you should have been saving those units for masteries instead, this is going to be a good build for you to start out with. So I have a spreadsheet that I'm going to turn to in just a moment to show you guys the cost of all of these masteries and give you guys a good idea of the order to pick them up in. But first I just wanted to show you the masteries themselves so you have a good reference to go back to. Alright, let's jump in the spreadsheet and we'll kind of bounce back and forth between spreadsheet and masteries here. So the grand total, first off, is going to be 3,500 units, which might sound like a lot, but you can get this piece by piece, and if we take away the most expensive one, in my opinion, you should be getting this mastery last, which is recovery. As amazing as it is expensive, but I mean that's going to drop it to 2,700 right there, and cruelty would be the second to last one. It's going to take it down to 2,000. So you guys can see it becomes manageable. It becomes manageable to pick up each one of these one by one and start building up your masteries. And the best part is that every single mastery here that you're unlocking can be used in the future. It's not just for a budget mastery build. These masteries, some of them at least, are essential for even the most expensive of mastery builds out there. So you're not wasting your units or anything like that. You're sort of building that power up. But then there's also a few options in here that might not be absolutely essential once you have an unlimited resource of units, but they're still powerful enough in their own right to warrant actually picking up. So let's actually head back into in-game right now, and I want to start out with the utility tree. So Limber is actually a very powerful mastery. It costs nothing to unlock. It is going to cost you a couple of units to rank up, but you spend 10 units and you basically cut all of your stun durations in half. And not only is this great while you're still trying to figure out how to evade specials and stuff like that may stun you and can save your save your life pretty much and save you a bunch of units, but even in the end game on Alliance War defense, Limber is absolutely amazing. So very cheap mastery. It's awesome. The next up is Parry, of course. I mean, Parry is pretty much an essential mastery in this game. Same thing for the mastery right below it, Dexterity. And these masteries, this is where you're going to see the first bit of cost, really. They're actually not cheap for a newer player, but you can work towards them. It's not going to take you that long as you save your units. Dexterity actually costs 2 Stony Mastery Cores, and Parry will cost you 3, so 200 and 405 units respectively. If we go back in game, the last cheap option in this tree is Stupefy, and I think this mastery is very underrated at times. I can't tell you how many times just having this additional half a second stun has saved me, especially against enemies who have Limber, who are already cutting your stun duration. Just being able to land that parry and get your first shots in, it's just very helpful. Very helpful, and only costs 1 Stony Mastery Core, which is only going to cost you 135 units. Now, there are a couple of other options in the utility tree, but we're going to save that towards the end. As you see, I have some points available at the top of my screen there. Let's actually jump into the defensive tree next. And if we head on over to the spreadsheet once again, you can see here that the first 6 points are actually going to cost you nothing. They're completely free. They're already open. It is going to cost you like a little bit of gold to rank them up, but you want to put 1 point in Vitality, 1 point into Greater Vitality, and then max out block proficiency. Block proficiency, it says 800 rating here, and that translates to about 10% damage, 10% more damage reduced when you're blocking. Depending on the character, might be a little bit more than that, might be a little bit less than that, but it's amazing. For a free mastery, doesn't cost that many points, early on defensive tree, absolutely want to pick up 4 out of 4 of block proficiency. Now the other masteries here, they are going to cost you, and they are a little bit expensive. So Salve here, if we go back to the spreadsheet, it's actually going to run 2 Stony Mastery Cores, which is 270 units. Recovery actually costs 6 of them, which is 810 units, And as I said, this is really, it really should be the last mastery that you pick up. It's a good mastery. Salve will heal you, a set amount every half second. Recovery increases all of your healing by 15%. And like I said, it's amazing, but it is expensive, and it's not absolutely essential. In the long run, it is going to save you units, so you absolutely want to save up your units to purchase the Stony Cores, to get recovery. It's definitely going to save you units, so definitely pick up this mastery. Don't spend it on featured crystals or anything like that. Just hold out. 6 Stony Mastery Cores will be there before you know it. But save it for last. Out of all the masteries I'm going to show you today, save this one for last. Salve is very good for lower level champions. I would say all the way up to a 4-star rank 4 champion. It's still a very powerful mastery. Beyond that, it's kind of arguable. It tends to drop off a little bit just because it doesn't scale as well for the 5-star champions. But you're going to get a lot of use out of it. You're absolutely going to get a lot of use out of it, and it's not that expensive, so you definitely want to pick that one up. Heading on over to the offensive tree here. I have everything in the left half of the tree because when we get over to the right half, some great mastery options, but they're also very expensive. So you definitely want to have everything on the left half that you see here first, and then once you get some more units, then you can branch out to the right side. So let's head on back over to the spreadsheet now. And you can see that the first 3 masteries here aren't going to cost you anything. If we head on over, Courage is kind of an underrated mastery, and what it does is when you're below 50% health, you're actually going to gain 20% damage, and 20% is a lot. Sometimes, I don't always put 3 points in this one, but I almost always have 1 point in this mastery. As you can see, the first point, it scales a little better than the following two. So you definitely want to have, at least that first point in there pretty much at any stage of the game. But even late game, even after you have an unlimited supply of units, there are definitely times where having 3 points in this mastery is absolutely worth it. And because it is free, it's not going to cost you any units. It is going to cost you a little bit of gold, but it's such a minor amount. You definitely want to put 3 points in this mastery. It's extremely powerful for it to not actually cost any units. So if we head back, the next one up is Pierce, and Pierce, what it does is it actually, we'll head off of the spreadsheet again. Pierce, critical hits for your champions ignore an additional percentage of armor, and it's 5% per level. And this is a mastery that I still need to do further testing on to see exactly how effective it is, but considering you need to unlock it anyway to get to the next masteries, which are absolutely some of the most powerful masteries in the entire game, you might as well put 3 points in here if you have the points. Beyond Pierce, we have some critical hit rating and crit damage masteries. There's actually 4 of them in total. The ones on the right side are more powerful than the ones on the left. You can see here this one is precision. To the left of that is lesser precision. So of course, if you have the units available to unlock precision and cruelty, then you want to put your points there first. You definitely want to start out with precision. Precision is going to give you more damage overall. It plays with your abilities, triggering their special effects and stuff like that. So yeah, you definitely want to have precision first. But after precision, if you have the units, go straight to cruelty. If you don't have the units, then you can just put points in lesser precision. And lesser precision is actually not that bad. This right here, this is going to give you about a 2 to 3% crit, additional crit chance. So it's really not that bad. This mastery is free. If we go back to the spreadsheet here, precision and cruelty, they are a little bit expensive. They cost 5 Stony Mastery Cores each, which is 675 units. So it's going to take you some time to to build these up. But like I said, it's extremely powerful. You definitely want to max out precision as soon as possible. And that's pretty much it for the budget build. This is going to give you a really good starting out point. Again, if you don't have the units to unlock some of these more powerful masteries, then get rid of recovery, get rid of cruelty. It'll leave you with this mastery build that's only going to cost you 2,025 units. You should be able to get to this build fairly quickly if you don't already have this stuff unlocked. Chances are you might already have some of these unlocked, such as parry and dexterity, and that would actually save you a lot of units. If we take out these two, if you already had these unlocked, it's only 1350 units. It's really not that bad. And after you get to the point where you have all of these masteries here, there are a few other options that we can talk about on where to go further. By the way, I have 11 points left over right now, so you have to be a minimum of level 49 to actually, do this build. But if you're not level 49 yet, or if you haven't completed all of Act 4, which gives you some additional mastery points, then you can drop some points out of Lesser Precision. You can drop some points out of Pierce. That would be fine. You can take a couple of points away from Courage. If need be, you can take some points out of Limber as well, and that should reduce the overall level requirement by quite a bit. Everything else you really want to try to keep as intact as possible, as maxed out. Whatever you see on screen here, try not to take too many points away from stuff like Precision. Definitely want that at 5 out of 5. But let's say you're level 60, and where do you go from here? What's the next kind of budgety type mastery that you can pick up? Well, there are a few good options. The first here is Glass Cannon. I believe that this costs 2 Stony Mastery cores per level. This is the first mastery that I'm showing in this video that actually has a cost per level. It's not just the cost to unlock it the first time. It's going to cost you 2 Stony cores per level. Once the mastery is unlocked, it doesn't matter how many times you reset them or recover all your points. It's going to be unlocked forever, and it's going to cost you just a very small amount of units to actually re-level it back up. But it still kind of is expensive if you think about it. In total, to get 3 out of 3 here, it's going to cost you 6 Stony Mastery cores, which is why I didn't include it in the initial part of the budget build. But it is still much cheaper than something like Assassin, which just to even unlock the first point in Assassin, you have to unlock 2 other masteries before it, and they're all very expensive. So Glass Cannon, it's definitely a worthy choice, and still kind of budget friendly after you have the rest of the stuff unlocked here. Another budget-friendly option is Physical Resistance, and this might be a little bit of an odd one. I think people kind of underrate Physical Resistance, but if you have this maxed out, it's about 6.5 damage reduction, and it only costs 1 Stony Mastery core to unlock. It's not the most important mastery for you to unlock, but if you wanted just to pad your defense just a little bit, it's only going to cost you 1 Stony Mastery core. Of course, it is going to cost you the mastery points themselves, but just to unlock it, 1 Stony Mastery core, not too bad. Next, we have some utility options here in Petrify and Pacify, and these are decent depending on what you're doing in the game. Pacify is not a mastery that I've played around with a lot myself, but I've heard a lot from alliance mates and just other players that having this mastery can really help take down some Thorns nodes in Alliance War and Alliance Quest and some other areas of the game. And it only actually costs 1 Stony Mastery core to unlock this. It costs 1 Stony Mastery core to unlock Petrify. So depending on what kind of content you're looking to get through, then these masteries, they can actually be pretty good. So definitely want to keep those on your radar for some masteries to pick up that are budget friendly. Beyond that, the masteries get kind of expensive. Things like Deep Wounds actually going to cost 1 Carbonadium core and 2 Stony Mastery cores per level. So you can see how those prices add up quickly, as each Carbonadium core is 550 units in itself. The Stony Masteries are 135 units each, and it might seem like it's going to take forever to get a mastery like Deep Wounds, but after you have a decent build like the one that I'm showing on screen right now, you can get through the arena fairly well and start saving up units to unlock these other more powerful masteries. Occasionally, Kabam will also have special events too that makes the Carbonadiums and Stony Mastery cores more available. We just had one with the Rockets Workshop. Hopefully everyone took advantage of that, where you were able to get quite a few Carbonadium cores and Stony Masteries for free, actually. Hopefully this budget build has helped you out, or if not you directly, then maybe a friend who's just looking to get started in the game. And if you are showing this to a friend, just give them that friendly reminder that they want to be spending their units on masteries before they get into things like the featured crystals. That's going to do it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.